What's going on, everybody? Ronan back, and we are back finally for chapter 4 of Dracula Rising. This chapter is the Monastery. So it's been about 2 months since I released chapter 3, which was Baba Yaga. I was busy with the East Vale and Bahia de las Rocas and life. But I did have this going on in the background, and you'll see why it took me so long. So a lot of the inspiration, in fact, most of the inspiration for this build came from the movie Dracula Untold, the monastery that's in Dracula Untold. And I used some of the set artwork from Francois Ardouy from his website in order to get the look done right, including the tower that Mina falls from at the very end of the movie. That's the tower right there. It's actually going to get taller than that, but that's the tower. Um, some of the things were actually pretty troublesome. That center section right there with the is actually where the hut is that they set fire to Dracula when they find out that he's a vampire. Um, that was actually really troublesome. Here's the church that I decided it needed a church at a monastery. I mean, I realized the whole thing is a religious compound, but it needed a church, so I added that in. And there's some other little features that I may have taken some artistic license with, but I think it came out pretty well. It had the right vibe and the right feel of the film. So hopefully I got it right. This bridge was a constant source of irritation for me. Um, I changed how I wanted to do this so many times. I've got a super flat world where I test things out. I've also got a complete copy of the server that I test things out and do things where try it without damaging the server so I can see if I like it. And it eventually turned out right. Here I'm brushing in some windows. Well, brushing in. I'm adding the windows. These are windows that I've used previously here in Uvenia. They're windows that I built before, and I do reuse some of the chisel and bit pieces that I make because I mean, for lack of better words, it's just easier rather than why reinvent the wheel if I've already done it. So that's what I did. That is a chisel and bit kind of holding balcony area that I did because I thought it looked kind of cool, and it's in the picture. So here I add some stairs to. This is just a tower that comes off of the kind of the royal residence. I thought that was a nice little touch. It's not technically part of the artwork, but there was a tower there. So here's the this center shack building thing that was. I mean, it gave me a headache to get it to look right, and I think I finally pulled it off, but it was such a headache. Through those doors is actually where Dracula's armor is. This is the armory that you see in the film. And I did extensive chisel and bits in here, and you'll see the result in the cinematic. But it was a lot of work to get the right feel that I wanted. Um, and then, of course, right above the armory, I decided, well, we need some books and stuff, so I put a library above the armory. And all the doors and the edges of the building are trimmed out with a little bit different stone to just give it a little more depth and to give it a little added feature. But there's a nice little library, and there's all kinds of detail inside. It would be impossible for me to show it all in the replay, so you'll see it in the cinematic. So here with the church, really giving it kind of a gothicy look. with the beams and the arched windows and the stone and the Gothic columns on the side. Those diagonal beams are actually part of the Askir mod from Triloton and Lendl. Uh, Love that mod. I used it extensively on this build. But that's the church. It came out pretty nice. Um, so I did go ahead and add in the gravel because it was driving me crazy having just the yellow block in the middle of the build where I'd had so much done, and and the yellow block just it drives me nuts because I feel like there's a lot that's unfinished if there's a massive blob of yellow wool. So these are kind of holdings on the gatehouse. Now it's a monastery. It's not a super defensible structure. If somebody wants to get in, they're getting in. We're not keeping anybody out. I mean, really. But I wanted to give it a little bit of a fortified look. And here you see with the replay mod, it didn't render the model back in that I had for the gatehouse. That's just a glitch of replay mod. It's actually there. It doesn't always render back in properly. I think we had that problem with Baba Yaga as well. But just adding some features to the gatehouse. A couple arrow barrels, for a defensible position. Detailing out the classroom. So this is two-story classroom for the monks to teach in. And you'll see the detail on the inside a little bit better with the cinematic. But I just wanted to give it a kind of a nice feel. It's got some nice windows, and I'm pretty happy with that part of the build. Now there is some footage that I don't have because I was dumb and I didn't press record, and that is the tower. Not this tower. This is another tower towards the back. But the main tower, which is the main portion of the movie, kind of the one of the final scenes. And there is another portion of the monastery that I didn't record at all, but you see it in the replay. But that's this tower, and it goes to the back section of the monastery. And I'm just detailing out the main eating area. But we're going to go ahead and step into the cinematic now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.